A lot of women are struggling in this space of really being able to regulate their nervous systems. And um, it's causing them to be extremely emotionally reactive. And being emotionally reactive is a sign of you getting to the point to where you're exhausted mentally and that you hit like your wits end with something, and so you just, you feel justified in a crash out, right? You feel justified in a crash out because you have just been through so much and you're just so emotionally exhausted. And so a lot of women who are crashing out in this manner, uh, a lot of times these are women who are considered to be emotionally intelligent women, or women who have arrived, or women who have, money, or all these type of things. Like, these are the main ones that are having these crash outs going on, okay? And so I want to talk about today how, like I said, way too much. Women are the most, especially black women, are the most educated group, okay? In the United States, for sure. But what I also notice is that we are the most emotionally unregulated as well. Our nervous systems are shot. A lot of us had to grow up in survival mode, and even though a lot of us have, created the lives that we wanted by being able to make more money and do all these different type of things, we are still very emotionally reactive, and it's really costing you money, it's costing you friendships, and it's costing you the very men that you desire so much. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a mentor to women of wealth and influence. And what I do specifically is that I mentor high caliber women to master their wealth, master their influence, and master their power as women. And we do this without burning ourselves out because we're operating solely according to our feminine design. So this is how I've supported my clients in being able to increase their business revenue. This is how I've been able to support my clients in being able to shift their health. I have clients who have reported to loss up to 50 to 70 pounds of working with me. I used to be 100 pounds heavier myself. I have also built a 6-figure plus business from the ground up myself without hustling. And I also have supported my clients in being able to attract and connect in better friendships and attract better romantic relationships. So this is the type of work that I do. I absolutely love the work that I do. The work that I do is rooted in scriptural law. Okay, so I always tell women 3 things you should be very fluent in if you want to thrive on this earth. You need to be very fluent in spiritual law, which for me is scripture, the science of yourself, which is understanding the science of your design and the energetics of your design, as well as understanding the psychological history of your lineage so that you don't repeat things. I think that with all the degrees and all the money that we may attain, we don't understand those 3 key things, and we wonder why, despite the fact that we have money or we're making more money now, it's like life still tends to be out of order. Life still tends to be kind of like crazy, or you still find yourself emotionally attached to things that you thought you would be disconnected from. It happens a lot, and it happens because you're not rooted in those 3 things. And so I support women in getting rooted in those things. And what happens is that when women get rooted in the understanding of those 3 things, their life shifts. They don't come to me and just start making more money. They don't come to me and just start attracting better men. They don't come to me and they just start losing weight. They come to me and we rewire and rewire their mind, number one. And number two, we rewire their nervous system, okay? And then we also put them in position to understand that it is your beliefs that impact your biology, and your biology that influences the way that you behave. So once the beliefs have shifted, the biology responds, and this is all science. Everything I give you is going to come from scripture, science, and psychology. So the body aligns, and then the behavior is going to exhibit or reveal new results, okay? If you implement that in something as small as working out or losing weight. Losing weight is not a difficult thing to do, okay? A lot of people think it's really hard. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. It's really not difficult. The difficult part is making the decision to show up every single day and to repeat the process even when it gets boring, okay? It's showing up in the process and understanding that when you hit a plateau, that simply means you need to pivot somewhere in the process. Okay, these things are really, really simple. We make them difficult. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. And so today, like I said, we're going to talk because you're a little, you know too much. Like, you done read all the self-help books. Like, you've been in all the classes and you've been in therapy hell for years. So why is it that you're still so emotionally reactive with all of the things that you already know? We're going to tap into it because, like I said, it is going to continue to cost you money. It is going to continue to cost you in friendships, and it's going to continue to cost you when it comes down to the relationships that you desire so much with men. Because all of these things are rooted in your magnetism, your feminine magnetism. And if you're not activating that, you're going to find some issues in those key areas: money, relationships, and friends. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to set the frequency real quick. Okay, so let's talk about why emotional chaos isn't a mystery, it's actually a message. Okay, it's a message. And if you are ignoring the message about your around your emotional chaos, it's costing you money because you have to spend more money in trying to figure out how you can do a quick fix. And I was having this conversation earlier today with one of my amazing colleagues who does womb work, who's helped women heal fibroids, who've helped women get pregnant in their 40s, like a whole bunch of stuff. And so one of the things that I was talking to her about is that a lot of women, especially a lot of millennial women, will wait to the very last minute to do what they need to do, and then they want a quick fix when they get into it, okay? And here's the thing about quick fixes. Society has really tricked a lot of you, a lot of us, a lot of women in general, thank you, my love, for these gifts, into thinking that convenience is always convenient for you. Let me break down convenience for a hot second, because I don't think you really understand convenience, okay? So anytime that there is a form of convenience coming about, then there is going to be some cutback somewhere. So while if you are not the person who is, really benefiting from the convenience, then you are the one it's being cut back on you and you don't realize it. I'll give you a perfect example. Hey love, when you go to eat fast food, it's convenient. It's everywhere, right? You can go anywhere. You can find McDonald's, you can find a burger, you can find anywhere. It's convenient. But in the convenience that you are paying for in being able to get fast food, it's convenient for them more so than it's convenient for you, because they depend on your laziness. They depend on your inability to get this done, or to meal prep and do all of these things. So they don't put the care. They cut back on the care and the quality that they serve you in fast food, which is why they use products that aren't really food. Okay, which is why they will have all these plethora of things on their menu for you to be able to get, but all of these things cut back on the quality that your body needs to be able to sustain. So it ain't really convenient for you. Anytime you are seeking convenience, and I even want to do this even in a simpler way, when it comes down to somebody going to shop for you on Instacart, it's convenient. Somebody going to buy your groceries, right? It's convenient. It's convenient until you get back home and you realize, or it's convenient until they drop your groceries off and you realize that they picked a bunch of apples that you would never pick because there's a rotten apple on the inside of the bag. And you would have assessed that. See, you would have taken more care. You would have taken more time. You would have been more patient. You would have picked quality if you were grocery shopping. But no, we wanted to pay for the convenience of someone else being able to go and do it for us. And it cut back on the quality. And I need you to understand that if you are in a scenario and when you think about convenience, you really need to be asking yourself, is it really convenient for you? Because what's convenient for somebody else ain't convenient always for you. And there are a lot of cutbacks that happen and a lot of cheating that happens in the experiences when they're trying to create convenience, and you really need to consider that. So when you get on here talking about you about to do a detox and you about to take a supplement and you are expecting your body to, and within 72 hours, to shift and change and do something completely different, all because you took a supplement trying to be convenient, those things are not sustainable. That's what you're not realizing. See, a lot of you want quickness. A lot of you want to pay for convenience. You want to pay for something quick that's not sustainable. So you want to lose weight so you can look good in this dress. You want to lose weight and detox so you can look good for your birthday and for vacation. You don't want a healthy lifestyle, which is why you search for these quick fixes. But then you wonder why you continue to be in these cycles of consistent cycles of toxicity or failure or reaping things that you claim that you don't desire and that you don't want. It's simply because you are in a space to where you are seeking convenience. And not all areas of convenience are convenient to you. They're actually cutting back on a lot of quality things, and I don't think you understand that. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. All right? So, again, if you're in a state of emotional chaos, it isn't a mystery. It's literally a message, and you continue to ignore it is going to continue to cost you the type of money you want, your magnetism, and your peace. It's going to cost you all of these things. Thank you, my love, for these comments, these hearts, and these likes. Okay? So, let's go ahead and get into this. This isn't going to be soft content. Though I tend to be a very soft element in essence, this is not going to be soft content. This is what I like to call a sacred recalibration, this conversation we're going to have today. Okay? If you're the strong one, if you're the successful one, if you're the healed one, but still emotionally unraveling under the pressure, then this room is going to be for you. I'm going to say it again. My eyes watering bad. I hate that. Okay? If you are the strong one, if you are the successful one, if you are the healed one, then, but you're still in a space where you emotionally unravel under the pressure of being these things, then this room is for you. I'm talking to you, oldest daughter. I'm talking to you, the one who's broke all the cycles and done all these things. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, the one who has now been the one to go and make the money in the family, and everybody's looking to you for the solutions. I'm talking to you, family manager. I'm talking to you, the person that everybody comes to because they need support, they need this, they need a solution, and they have it. I'm talking to you. Okay? I'm talking to the women who are naturally leaders, who necessarily didn't really ask for the position to have to step up into this, but you were somehow birthed into this experience. I'm talking to you. Hey, love. Okay? So let's go ahead and get straight into the truth about emotional intelligence and power for a second. All right? Because today we're talking about how you know too much to be so emotionally reactive. You know too much, and you're aware of too many things for you to react the way that you do to certain scenarios, the way you crash out behind somebody not texting you back. All of these different things that you do behind closed doors that you don't think people see. Like, because you've read all the books. You've done a lot of the trauma work, the shadow work. You're self-aware. Self-awareness, it used to be a lost art. But see, the reality is a lot of y'all are very aware of who you are. You just are making decisions not to do anything different for whatever reason. Okay? You've read all the books. You've done all the trauma work. You're extremely self-aware. But your self-awareness without nervous system regulation is just a well-informed reaction. This is why you can't implement anything. The reason, you know why you can't implement your boundaries? Because your nervous system is not regulated, because you freak out anytime you say no, and people start guilt tripping, you start feeling it in your soul like, oh my God, I have to face the fact, I have to tell them no. See, if your nervous system was regulated, you could tell them no with a smile. You could tell them no with ease. Okay? But the fact that you have all this self-awareness without nervous system regulation, you are just well informed. You can tell, this is why you can tell everyone else what to do and how to respond, and you don't know what to do yourself. This is exactly why. This is why it's so easy for you to look at somebody else's scenario and be able to speak on it and give a great solution. But when it comes to you, you don't have anything for yourself. It is because you have not retrained your nervous system to be in a safe space to even receive. Okay? Because here's the thing that, and here's how you know this is your reality and what you're doing. You still spiraling after one conversation. Somebody could say something to you, and child, you done lost your mind. You done lost your whole mind. You shrink around other powerful women, or you do things to, try to pick them apart because you're jealous. The energetics that you have around that, you don't understand how to be. You're so used to being the smartest one in the room that when you come into a room with other people who are just as intelligent or possibly even more intelligent than you, you are threatened. So You're threatened around powerful women. You doubt yourself after every single launch and every single pivot. Like, you know too much to still be leaking like this. And I'm not even just saying this from a perspective of society. Let's talk about it from the perspective even for those who say that they are believers. You know too much about what's finna happen and what's happening in this world for you to be panicked. Don't piss me off. What are you panicking for? Like, hold tight. What are you panicking for? Why are you allowing them to say things to you to cause you to be in an uproar to where you start acting and behaving outside of yourself? How is it that the news and the media and society's voices are louder than the one that created you? You knew all of this was going to happen. You just didn't think you were going to be here. You just didn't think it was going to happen in your lifetime. Well, oh well. That's your reality. What are you going to do? What is your position here? Are you going to shrink? Are you going to spiral? Are you going to doubt yourself every time you hear something? You know too much to still be leaking like this. And what you're leaking is precious energy that you could be shifting and moving and transmuting into something else. But because you're so focused and you keep it in a state of fear, nothing moves for you. Or the thing you want so much is repelled by you, like money, like the men that you like the friendships that you crave, right? Behind closed doors. You know too much to be leaking like this. And I know a lot of people say that clarity is calm. Clarity is not calm. Clarity is command. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Clarity is demand. See, when you're very clear that for you, if you're going to deal with men relationally long term, marriage has to be involved. If that is the long term goal that you have in your mind, that is what you are going to do, then guess what? You have clarity on how you're going to move. So when you have clarity on how you're going to move, you have command, you have power in the situation. Hey, my love, and thank you so much for these gifts. You have power. And the power that you have is to be able to decide that this experience is not appreciating my value. This experience is not adding value to me. So I'm going to disconnect from this because this does not go in the direction of what I value. See, clarity is command, sweetheart. It's not calm. It's commanding. No, thank you. I've been paralyzed by fear most of my life. It's time to come on out, my love. It doesn't get you anywhere. Fear is not an energy. Fear is an energy, first and foremost. And it is an energy that is not provided to you by the one that created you. The one that created you would never put the energetics of fear into your being, because why would you need to fear on an earth where A, you have dominion, B, you have the godlike nature, C, you have godlike character. So why should you fear something that is a part of who you are? Why should you fear other human beings? Why are we fearing creations that did not create us? It does not make any sense. And why are we fearing the opinions and the thoughts of creations that didn't create us? That doesn't make any sense. And so fear is an energy that is that is transferred to you from other human beings or other systems. Fear is transferred to you from the world. And the world, when it talks about it in Romans 12:12, how you should be not conformed to this world, transformed by the daily renewal of your mind. The world is speaking of is known as the cosmos. That's the definition, really, the etymology of it. It's the cosmos. And the cosmos is defined as world people or worldly systems that disconnect you from your spiritual core. There are systems that are set up to disconnect you from your spiritual core so that you submit to them and you become a lifelong slave to those systems. Okay? That is a real thing. And I think a lot of people don't realize that when you are very clear on yourself, on your value, on your identity, you have power in this world because you can command and create the reality that you desire, whatever that is. And so when I say women come to work with me in a space to get these things together, they're not coming to me, we're dealing with the reality of like, are you prepared to be in command? Are you prepared to make a decision? Because a lot of women don't like making decisions. A lot of women want people to come in and rescue them and save them. And a lot of people are going to position, a lot of women are going to position themselves for prey in the next 6 to 12 months. Because you're going to be trying to figure out how you're going to thrive and how you're going to survive, when in reality you have every single thing that you need on the inside of you. You have creative and witty inventions in your very being, according to Proverbs 8 and 12. So you should never be broke. Broke is a mindset. So you should never be broke. Okay? Because you have creative and witty inventions in your very being. As long as you are in alignment with the things that are for you, those gifts are going to make room for you. All you have to do is show up, use the law of assumption, and basically show your faith, show your belief in consistently showing up and speaking the message that you are assigned to speak. And those who are going to resonate with that message are going to come in because they see value, and then they're going to invest their revenue. They're going to invest their income because they expect an outcome from you. Okay? But if you're in a space to where you don't have clarity and you don't have command, you can't show up. And this is not something like you can't show up to get the money. You can't show up to get the type of friendships that you want. And you can't show up to get the type of men that you desire and that you want. It's just not possible for you to be able to do that because you're not an energetic match for power, because you won't even get in command by making decisions. You won't even get in power. See, a lot of us as women, we naturally are attracted to what we believe is powerful and what we see as power, which is why we like masculine men, feminine, which is why we want that type of energy. But see, I don't think you understand is that in order for you to attract power, you have to command it. And the ability to be able to command it is having clarity. And having clarity is by a byproduct of you being in alignment with the vision. And you being in alignment with the vision is a byproduct of you writing it down, making it plain, being clear on it, and not deterring from that vision. This is how people manifest the realities that they desire. This is how I manifested a healthier life, 100 pounds lesser. This is how I manifested the life of me being a digital nomad after I got divorced and didn't know what I was going to do. This is how I manifested creating a 6-figure plus business from the ground up. This is how I've manifested clients into my containers. It is all about your energetics at the end of the day. It's all about where you place your power. And if you are emotionally reactive, you are leaking power and you are consistently giving power away, which means that you can't split your emotions. And if you don't believe me, try to go in the mirror and be happy and sad. Try to be really sad and then start laughing. You're going to have to pick a lane. You're not going to be able to be double-minded when it comes down to that. So women have to start making better decisions and start seeking and operating from a space of command. And you can only do that by the way of clarity. Okay? So you can't say you're waiting for clarity, but really you're waiting to feel emotionally safe enough to move. Because we as women, sometimes when we go through experiences in life, we test. And I think we do it as human beings, but we as women, we try to convince ourselves that we're not testing because we go to therapy after, or we're so-called healed. But how about you don't really know if you're healed from your next relationship until you get into another relationship? Because relationships reveal who you are. You understand what I'm telling you? Because you will always meet yourself. You will always meet yourself in every single relationship, whether it is a platonic relationship, a romantic relationship, a friendship, a colleague. You are always going to meet yourself. So as much as you think that you are different from the people that are around you or in your space, you are no different from them. They are literally just angles and reflections of different angles of your mirror. Maybe that you have not looked at. Maybe that you have not really paid attention to. But see, when you don't have clarity, you can't recognize. Women who lack clarity blame men. Blame their mothers, blame their fathers, and blame every single other person outside of themselves for the experiences that they have continued to be in. Okay? Women who do that. Okay? The women who lack clarity, who are unable, who are not clear on themselves, they will blame everything else and everyone else for their experiences, their failures, and they are consistently victims in all of their experiences. Okay? Hi, love. But what these women don't realize, and I say this all the time, and I say it with a smile, but I'm just keeping it real with you. You know, I've never seen a victim, right? A person that's always in a state of victimhood, that something is always happening to them. I've never seen that type of victim not be a bully first. I've always seen the person who is always blaming. It's your fault. It was him. It was my mom. It was my dad. It was this person. It was this person. This is why my life like that. Every person that I know that operates like that on a victimhood mentality is also a bully first. And why am I saying that this person is a bully first? You are a bully to yourself. Get into it. You are your bully to yourself. See, other people's mistreatment of you is nothing but a reflection of how you treat yourself in true time. Because people who value themselves, people who love themselves, people who understand that they have options, people understand all these different things. They don't allow themselves to be mistreated. Point blank, period, the end. But your belief, again, like I said, I work with women around their beliefs and their energetics, because belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way that you behave. But due to your true beliefs in your subconscious mind that has not been reprogrammed, which is another thing I do for clients, you get the how to reprogram your mind to achieve any single goal in the emotional wealth kit in my link in my bio. And I'm teaching you how to reprogram your mind, because the reality of the situation is this: you will only go as far as your beliefs, and you will always go only as far as your circle. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes and these comments. You will only go as far as your beliefs. You will only go as high as your beliefs, and you will only go as wide as your circle. Okay? You will only go as wide as your circle. You will only go as high as your beliefs. And that is just your reality. And when you begin to adjust that by being clear, having clarity, you can shift and move some things differently. Let me say this again. You cannot say that you're waiting for clarity, but in reality, you're waiting to feel emotionally safe enough to move. This is why a lot of you are not making the type of money that you can make in business. You are creating money blocks. You understand that, right? You are creating money blocks with your inaction. Everything that you desire and that you want that is in alignment with the Most High's will is already present in the spirit realm. It is only waiting on you to get in alignment in this realm so that you can receive it. I need you to start seeing yourself as if you are the catcher on the baseball field. If you're not catching, if you're not receiving, you need to start asking yourself, am I in the right position? Do I have the right materials? Am I at the right place at the right time? See, all of these things matter when it comes down to the catcher catching the baseball. If you are not ready and open to receive, you're not going to receive the type of money you want. You're not going to receive the type of friendships you want. You're not going to receive the type of men that you desire and that you want. This is just not going to happen for you because you're not an energetic match for those things. You cannot want power and desire power and you lack command over your own life and your own space. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Wanting to feel emotionally safe in order for you to move, that's not discernment, that's delay. Y'all be lying. You have to stop lying too, because you want the universal algorithm to reward you with honesty and truth, and it can only reward you based on your honesty and your truth, and that is the only thing that you're going to be rewarded for. But you have to start asking yourself, do you like the rewards in your life? Because if you don't like the rewards in your life currently, you need to start looking at the things that you're thinking, the way that you're, what you're doing, your energy, your attention. All of these things make a huge difference. This is not discernment, you waiting for the perfect moment. You are delaying. And that delay is dysregulation disguised as alignment. I'm just waiting on the perfect time. Sweetheart, there's only divine timing. There is no such thing as perfect timing. There is only divine timing. There is no such thing as perfect timing. This is why it's very important for you to be clear and have clarity, because clarity is command. And once you have clarity, you can what? Tell yourself to get rolling, to get moving, to get active, because you have everything that you need to be able to do so at this point. You have no excuses. But see, you can't do that if you don't have command over your thoughts. This is why it tells you to take your thoughts captive. If you are an overthinker, you have no control over your thoughts. If you are an overanalyzer, you have no control over your thoughts. If you are an overextender, overfunctioner, and overexplainer, you have no control over your energetics, which means you have no control over your energy and motion. Your energy and motion is known as your emotions. So this is why you're extremely reactive. All of these things, it's a process, sweetie. If you are grounded spiritually, then mentally you can fortify yourself and you can build mental fortitude and strength to overcome, okay? To overcome your thoughts, to overcome all those things, to be able to speak truth and to capture your thoughts. But the fact that you can't do that is why you cannot manage your emotions and you can't manage your responses. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, these comments. To say you're so right. Once you manifest, you can keep on. Absolutely. I always tell people, if you ever want to eliminate the word try from your vocabulary, all you have to do is do something once. Once you do something once and you have evidence of it, then that means that you can do it again. There's no more trying. You simply are going to do or you ain't finna do. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Like I said, I used to be 100 pounds heavier, right? But before that, I battled with my weight for about 20 years trying to figure out like going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But I would lose 50 pounds and then gain 60 back. I would lose 20 pounds and then I would gain 40 back. It would be different things like that was happening. But the key element of that is that my belief didn't change. My belief around food, my belief around my temple, my belief around my identity, those things had not shifted. Therefore, because they have not shifted biologically, I had the same habits. When I got frustrated, I was going to get something sweet. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. Emotional eating, impulsive eating, and impulsive spending are connected to dysregulated emotions. You wanna know why you keep spending that money? And let me tell you something else. See, dysregulation in money and in meals also reveals dysregulation when it comes down to men. All these things are connected, whether you realize it or not. All of these things are connected. And all of these things have to do with the root of you. Because that dysregulation that you got going on, that you describe and try and be like you waiting on alignment, absolutely not. You don't need another self-help book. You need a spiritual structure and a nervous system command, meaning that clarity has to be on the forefront. You need vision and you need clarity. And all of your actions need to align with that vision and with that clarity. And that is how you're going to manifest what it is that you truly want. And not only be able to manifest it, because let me talk deeper. Because everybody talks about manifestation, but nobody talks about management. Don't piss me off. See, everybody talks about manifestation, but nobody talks about management in order to sustain. You understand what I'm saying? So it is so important. It is so vital. If you want it, you have to ask yourself before you even get into the state of talking about manifestation and all the things that you want and you desire. Do I just want to manifest this thing or do I want to sustain it? Am I doing this for the plot or am I doing this for the long game? And as a woman, to be honest with you, you should always be thinking about your long game. And just a little tip, majority of men are short-term thinking. They think in the short term. So you have to be thinking the long-term game. You have to stick to the long-term game. And what you have to understand is when you stick to the long-term game, the people who are in alignment with that, the people who value what it is that you're doing, they will naturally come and invest in you. You don't even hardly have to ask. They'll be asking you. They'll be asking you what they can do for you. And I'm talking about money. I'm talking about men. I'm talking about friendships. People will come and ask you how they can support you. All because they see you doing and pouring your efforts into you. If you need a simple example of that, let me help you out. If a woman, you are on the side of the road and it is pouring down raining and you are pushing your car, trying to get your car to move. Okay? It's pouring down raining. I guarantee you it's a higher percentage change and a higher probability that men are going to pull over and support you and help you because you are out here. The men who value safety of women, not everybody. Hear what I'm saying now. Hear what I'm saying. The men who see women and who are natural innate protectors are going to pull over and invest time, energy, and attention to supporting you and moving your car because they see what you are doing on your own. And they see that as valuable, them getting out there and protecting in that manner. Okay? So what you put into yourself, how you pour into yourself, people look at you, whether, and they how can I say this? People look at you, men, women, well, men specifically because they're visual, but in general, in business, people look at you and they assess your value. They assess your value. They assess your value from the moment that they see you. Men will come and look you up and down to see how much money they have to spend and see if they have enough money to be able to spend to be able to get you to whatever their short-term goal is. Do they have enough? Do they have XYZ? Do they have this to be able to pull you? They are assessing you from first sight. You are being assessed. And as you're being assessed, you are either being seen as someone who continues like they're valuable, so I want to add value because I want to reap value, or I'm assessing you to see, or you're being assessed to see how I can devalue you, how I can get the most out of you because you don't see your value, because you don't value yourself. This is what is happening to you every single day that you walk outside your door, whether you realize it or not. So while you are in La La Land, while you in the land of love and feelings and all of these things that are Disney programming, you are being assessed. You are being assessed for value. You are being assessed for value on how you can be used. Either way, and I hate to say it like this, but I'm being honest. Even when it comes out of corporations, you are being assessed to see how you can be used. And if you show yourself to be valuable and to already be an asset, then sure, okay, I'll add value to you so I can use what I need from you, and I'm willing to add value. But if you are someone who does not recognize their value, who does not see your true essence and how people see you and your aura and your spirit and all these things, hey, my love, then people are thinking about what they're going to get from you and how little they're going to give you because you're not used to getting anything because you don't do anything for yourself, and that's evident. So again, upon first meeting, even before meeting, for the women who date online or the women who work online, you're being assessed by your content, by what you put online. See, some people will watch you. See, clients and men will take their time and watch you. They will watch you to find something relatable. They will watch you to find like an opening. They will watch you for a long time, and you have no idea that you are being watched and you are being assessed. This is why, as a woman, the long game should always be your game. You should always be playing chess. This is why, as a woman, clarity is your command, because it's going to keep your actions aligned with the vision that you really want for yourself. And this is going to keep you out of scenarios that are going to drain you, that are going to exhaust you, and all of these different type of things. Okay? You really need to pay attention to that. We live in a society where a lot of women, most women, are emotionally reactive, but that was done on purpose. That's why they put reality TV out there like that. They put reality TV out there to take away shame in any form of behavior. It made everything permissible. It made everything permissible. Everything, do it. Okay, you want to share him? We gonna share him. Let's do it. Okay, we gonna have these threesomes. We gonna do it. Let's do it. Okay, we gonna fight in the street and act like this. Let's do it. Okay, we gonna do this. It's okay for us to do it. The whole goal of reality TV, even though it's scripted, and I'm telling you, as someone who, I lived in a building years ago, and I was approached about a reality TV show. And I want to tell you how scripted this really is, how really scripted it is. I remember them interviewing me, and I knew they weren't going to pick me after this because I don't care. I didn't care. But I remember being in the interview and them asking questions and trying to find like a funny type thing. And I remember the woman, and the woman didn't look like me. And see, I don't play these kind of games. So the woman didn't look like me, and we were talking about pooling and swimming and stuff like that. And she was like, can you run that back and say it again, and maybe say something like, well, the pool and all that is up there, but black people really don't be swimming. What you mean? Because I've been swimming since I was 8, since they threw me in the pool at camp. Swim like a fish. So, what do you mean? And see, when people say certain things to me, I'm the type of person, I don't automatically go off. I make you explain your ignorance to me. I put you in a position to explain the statement that you just made to me. I will tell you really quickly, I'm sorry, can you repeat that for me? Because I don't think I'm understanding clear exactly what it is that you are trying to put out there. And I want to make sure I'm not missing it. So what does that mean? Reality TV is scripted. And it is scripted to, like I said, pull you away from things that used to be, oh, let's do this behind closed doors, or how this and how that, to putting everything in the forefront. So now everyone thinks it's okay to say what you want to say, which is why a lot of people will hop in people's comment section talking crazy. See, social media and reality TV have you out here with a false sense of courage that in reality you really don't have. But the goal was to make everyone become emotionally reactive. That was the goal. And so now we have a lot of women walking around here emotionally reactive. We have a lot of men walking around here emotionally reactive. And now we have this detrimental podcast culture and all this type of stuff because people are just reactive and people are speaking from their wounds and acting as if they are winning because of it. And they're being what appears to be rewarded for speaking on your wounds. But let me tell you something, like I tell y'all all the time, speaking on your wounds is not sustainable, which is why you have to be careful about what you brand yourself as when you come out here as a business owner. And I hate to use the example, but I have to use the example. The young lady that came, and I say this a lot, the young lady that came on here and talked about, who did she marry and how did all that, she's forever branded as that. And wound branding is not sustainable. Because she also got on here and was saying, yeah, I work a regular job. I'm a executive assistant. Nothing is wrong with any of that. Nothing is wrong with any of that. But what I need you to understand and see is that speaking from your wounds, thinking that you're going to be winning, that's not sustainable. Speaking and understanding and from a place of command and power is what positions you for the real paper. And I don't think people really understand that it positions you for the real paper, the proper people that need to be in your experience, okay, and the profitable partnerships that you are seeking, even when it comes down to romance. All of these things are rooted in you being in command, and you can't be in command if you out here operating from a frequency of dysregulation disguised as alignment because you waiting on the perfect time, calling it discernment. You're not. You're in delay. And you're waiting on a moment to feel safe enough for you to move. I'm gonna play this game with you until I see that you keeping it real with me. Then I'm gonna keep it real with you. That's the quickest way for you to be out the door with me, baby. Don't ever test me. Don't ever. See, the worst thing you can do is test a discerner. You understand what I'm telling you? The worst thing that you can do is try to test a seer. Sweetheart, I will leave you alone, leave you in the dust immediately. I don't have time to be testing. You are who you say you are you not? But I am who I say I am, and I'm not shifting my vibrational state to approve or to make you feel comfortable or to soothe your trauma and your piss poor experiences in the past that you still are not taking responsibility for, that you have participated in, given permission to, or simply weren't paying attention. Don't piss me off with that. I'm not going to play your game. And nobody has to play your game. Women do this to women. Women do this to men. People do this in general. And it's not proper because energetically you're going to continue to attract people who do worse to you because you're not getting it. You're not grasping it. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. So like I said, you don't need another self-help book. You need spiritual structure and you need nervous system command. Point blank, period. The end. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Now let's talk about this hidden cost of you staying in this space of dysregulation in the area of money, in the area of friendships, and in the area of men. And some of you may hear this and be like, dang, that's where I'm at. Well, if that's where you at, then you want to shift that, then we can do something about that. But if that's where you at, because like I said, especially black women, we ain't got an issue with self-awareness. We know exactly what's going on with us. We don't like to admit and accept the reality. which is why you cannot create a new reality, because you won't admit your part. You won't accept responsibility, and you won't take accountability, which is why you can't create a new reality, which is why you keep repeating the same process over and over again. This is what I'm telling you is not just scriptural. I'm telling you science. Everything I give you come from scripture, science, and psychology. And psychologically, you're doomed to repeat the same thing if you don't program, if you don't do anything different. Point blank, period. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now I'm going to bring the receipts on what is really costing you in your life. Number one, you're wanting these consistent high income months, but you can't hold you can't hold emotional stability for 3 consistent days. You can't go 3 days without somebody saying something to you and you getting so overwhelmed and getting so out of pocket and getting so beside yourself. You just can't function. You can't breathe. You want high consistent income months. You want high income months, but you cannot hold emotional stability for 3 consistent days. That's a problem. That's a problem. You're not an energetic match to hold the wealth that you require because you're too shaky. And he who is unstable in one way is stable in a multitude of ways, darling. Like, who you are is who you are. You delay, and this is where it comes down to your money. You delay launching, or you avoid selling because your emotional state dictates your strategy. Oh, I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like going live today. I don't feel like writing an email today. I don't feel like doing this. I'm having a bad day. Number 1 through 3. Why your stuff not automated? See, the women that come to work with me, they understand that when you get in this space, when you're in your rest period, because you have a rest period during the month where it's like 5 days where you're resting and you're receiving, 5 to 7 days. When you're in that period, things should automatically be automated. You should stick to the plan, not your mood. And you should plan for you to have days where you don't feel like it. You're not going to feel like it. If I want to be completely transparent, I didn't feel like going live today. Let's get into it. But the reality of the situation is this. I stick to the plan, not my mood. And what I do is I adjust my mood by shifting my frequency, by becoming rooted spiritually in who I am, whose I am, what I'm here to do, where my power lies, so I can command and create a new reality. And in that new reality, I'm about to have joy. So guess what? I got that joy and I got on here. You would not have even known that I didn't feel like not a thing. Because, baby, I got in late last night after going to see Anderson Paak. Okay? Pac, child, one of them. But it was long, and he put on a great show. He's an immaculate artist, by the way. An immaculate genius, and he is really nice to look at. I was shocked. I was like, wait, I didn't even know this man looked like this and all these skills. But it was really, really great. So, the thing is, though, like, I wanted to sleep. I ain't going to like 1 something. I want to go to bed. Okay? So the reality is, though, what I have is for someone today. So I needed to get rooted so that I could follow the plan, not my mood. And for the days that are difficult for me, I have a plan in place. So the plan is still going while I regulate my mood. And one of the things that I did that's simple to set myself up, because I knew I was going to be out last night late. I got up this morning, I automated my posts, I automated my emails, I automated everything. So all I would have to do is have a long, slow morning, regulate my mood, and get on live today. You plan, because you ain't going to always be in the mood. Hello? And you have to figure that out and carry that in all aspects. You're not going to always feel in the mood in business. You're not going to always feel in the mood in marriage. Hello? You're not going to always feel in the mood in friendships. You're not going to always feel the mood if you have to become a caretaker for a parent. You're not going to always be in the mood. This is why it tells you that your feelings are so fickle and you shouldn't be led by them. Okay? There has to be a plan in place. So we're talking about, like I said, this money, you allowing your emotional state to dictate whether or not you're going to show up and sell. And that's crazy because money is the blood of your business, sweetheart. So what we doing? Make it make sense. Okay? I don't know how you can plan for that. You can always, there are things to always plan for. For example, things that are going to happen consistently. One thing I know for sure is always going to happen consistently in this life. Guess what? I'm gonna get sad. Something is going to make me sad while I'm on this earth. Everything is not always a happy time. You understand what I'm saying? So if everything is not always a happy time, then I need to have a plan for when I get down and when I get sad, a plan that is so good that puts me in a position to where I'm able to process my emotions and then also transmute that energy up so that I'm not stuck in the emotion of sadness, okay? Because the longer I sit in the emotion of sadness, the longer it's going to prevent me from putting my energy where it actually belongs. So you plan for things that you know consistently happen on the regular or that can happen in this life. There are certain things you can't plan for. There are certain things you're not going to be able to plan for, and you're going to have to be in the process of getting yourself together. One of the things I feel like that we don't plan for is grief. And that's because a lot of us don't deal with the reality that in this life there is loss. And because you don't deal with the reality that in this life there is loss, not just loss when it comes down to death, not just loss when it comes down to money, but there are things that are going to happen where you're going to grieve, you're going to lose certain things. And people are not prepared for grief, which is why a lot of people get stuck in the state of grief. There should be a process. There should be a plan. There should be something put up there for you to be able to access. Okay? Because in those moments of grief, you're not always thinking straight. But if you have a plan, if you have something, then you know how to position yourself so you don't get stuck. Okay? So this is why those type of things are extremely important. You have to think about things that happen consistently in your life and develop processes for them. So they make it easy when things happen. You're more efficient, you're more effective. All of these different type of things, right? It took me going through a very tragic somebody passing away from me that was really close. Now, people have died all the time. I'd be like, okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Da, da, da. But when it hit me to my core, I realized when I get hit to my core like that, in certain scenarios, I have to pull away. It took me a year. When my best friend passed away, a year, people didn't see me. My other best friend she would text me and just tell me she loved me every day because I couldn't talk. So I have a great village and a great community around me who would support me. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, my love, for these gifts that was supporting me and that was there for me. But I needed a year of recovery. Guess what that taught me? When I take hard hits like that close, I need time away. So guess what? Bills still got to be paid. Money still got to be made. Okay? Things still have to be taken care of. So what can I put in place to support me in that? I need to make sure I have enough revenue, or I have this to where I can take a month off to at least think and plan what my next step is, or prep for what my next year is going to be. So I need the revenue for that to be able to have it. Because and another thing that I need to be away. So guess what that looks like? As soon as somebody passed away, something happened, I'm taking a trip. I'm taking the trip, and I'm going to sit by some water, and I'm talking to the Most High, and I'm processing my grief, and I'm asking the Most High how I'm supposed to be moving. I am centering myself, and I am away from everybody where I don't have to focus on anything else but that process. But in order for me to do that, the structure has to be set up for me to do that. So this is why I say death is one of those things. It's inevitable. If you know you handle death a certain kind of way and you've seen how you process it, you need a plan. Because bills still have to be paid. Money still has to be made. Things still have to be taken care of. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what I be talking about, the long game, when I'm talking about women, when they come talking about marriage. Don't come talking to me about marriage and all you talking about is love. If something happened to that man tomorrow, are you set up enough to where you can go and take a trip and focus on grieving for a second, or you got to worry about picking up his debt? This is what you need to be thinking about. This is what you need to be thinking about. All that, you need to be thinking about the long game. And this is, again, why I say to women, you should always be thinking of the long game. Because the majority of men do not think about the long game. They trying to get through day to day. It's very short term. And it's not that anything is wrong with that. It's a part of their design. Men run mainly on their 24-hour clock. We run on 2 clocks. They run on the circadian clock, rhythm clock, which we all do, where your organs are charging every couple of hours. Each organ is charging. Something is charging, right? And then also you have, for us, we have the circadian rhythm clock, but we also have a moon clock. The moon clock is our cycle clock. So you have a sun clock and you have a moon clock. And so the reason why you need to be thinking about your long game is because a lot of that, your moon clock has a lot to do with your long game. Your sun clock does too, but your moon clock has a lot to do with your long game, sustainability. It is the feminine aspect. It is the balance required and needed, okay? So it's one of those things that is very, very, very important. So men are short term and they think like short term. And there's not nothing wrong with that. Stop judging them for that. Stop making them feel bad about that. You invest in yourself so much to where you're an asset that people look at you and they know. They know that they want this for the long term, so they start investing in this space. And that comes from clients, that comes with men, that comes with friendships, that comes with all that. People can see and look at you and see, okay, this person can add value and I want them around it long term. And people will invest in that to keep that value around. That's just point blank, period. Okay? So you have to understand and be very clear on the fact that when it comes down to your money and different things like that, you cannot afford for your emotional state to be like this. If your emotional state is like this, your money is going to be like that. And we're entering into a time you need your money to be steady. You need your money to be afloat. You need your money to be magnetized to you. And money only locks in with value, high vibrational state, and alignment. I keep telling y'all that. It's the same thing when it comes down to men too. Those are the 3 keys. You ever want to figure out why is money not getting a relationship with me? Where the value at? Where the high vibes at? Where's the alignment at? If it's not there, money's not coming. Same thing when it comes down to men. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to let you know something, okay? So the third way that you are, this dysregulation is kind of costing you is because a lot of women struggle to raise their prices, not because the value isn't there. Like, we're in the season now, like, you can't keep pricing low. Y'all want to be affordable. Why? People invest in what they value. People don't always invest in what people who invest in what's affordable is not seeking quality, they're seeking quickness. People who invest, okay, hear what I'm telling you. People who invest in that way, they're not looking for quality, they're looking for quickness. Let me see what this is. There we go. They're looking for quickness. And you have to decide if you want to continue to serve quickness or if you want to provide quality, which is going to sustain your business and sustain people coming to you over and over and over again. People will come and pay 4 figures, 5 figures for your products and services if they value it. If they don't, they're not going to buy it. Some people will come and pay for the process and this is a different thing. There are people who will come and pay me and work with me for 12 weeks or whatever the case, 6 to 12 weeks. And they want the process. And then there are people who will go and schedule 1 session. And they just want what they feel is a quick strategy and a quick fix. Nothing is wrong with that. But you have to ask yourself, what is more valuable to you when it comes down to what it is that you're selling? So if you're selling transformation like myself, women are transformed when they work with me. People who are in relationship with me personally, even when it comes down to romance, they're transformed. Every man that I have been with or loved romantically, we've been together romantically, I've transformed their life in some form of fashion for the better, and vice versa. So my relationships are transformative. So when people come to work with me, you're investing in your transformation. You're investing in your elevation. You're not investing in a quick fix. Because the reality is you didn't gain that weight overnight. So why the hell are you coming over here to me thinking you're going to ask me how you're going to take a supplement and lose weight, lose 100 pounds tomorrow? It's not making sense. What I am going to help you do is get to the root of how you gained that 100 pounds, so you can realize how you did that. And I'm going to support you in rewiring so you can never do that again. And you're going to have that core memory so much like connected to your mind that before you even think about going back in that direction, you're going to have an inner correction happening. Is this what you really want? See, I make you think. I inspire you to shift. This is why the majority of my products, you see muse in it, because I believe that women are muses. Women are sources of inspiration. They are walking art. But you can only be that if you are operating in the fullness of your frequency. You can only be that if you are operating in the fullness of your authenticity and you're really standing in that. Having money and achieving and creating businesses and doing all of that means nothing when you're emotionally bankrupt and you're completely empty on the inside. And you're afraid to raise your prices. Again, not because the value ain't there, but because your body isn't grounded enough for you to hold higher caliber clients. Because you think that these higher caliber clients are better than you. So you don't think you have nothing to offer them. So you missing money because you don't want to see, and they pay. They will gladly pay you $10,000 to be able to get themselves in a better position because they value the transformation. They will gladly pay. But you're afraid to ask them for that because you don't feel like you're worthy. Let me put you on game and tell you something. Before I became a 6-figure plus business owner, creating my business around, the women that were coming to work with me made more money than me. The women that were coming to work with me was your attorneys, your therapists, your doctors, your nurses, all of them. Your educators, your social workers, all of them. Well, not the educators, but everybody else, they made more money than me. There were women who were having $1 million businesses interested in coming to work with me. Because the skill set that I had, despite the money that they had, they didn't have a skill set. So why are you afraid to go after high caliber? It's because your nervous system, something in your nervous system is saying that you're not worthy to even be in the same room, to even breathe the same air, to even ask them anything. Who the hell told you that? Who told you that? Where did you get that from? That is a fear-based belief. So you already know it didn't come from the Most High. So where did you get it? Where did you obtain it? Okay? And it needs to be rewired. And which is why when you come to work with me, we reprogram your brain. We reprogram your mind. We rewire your nervous system so that you can actually accept these things. Because why can't you be in this room with these people? Who are they? They just creations. They ain't the creator. What's wrong with y'all? You give them more power than they actually have. Absolutely not. Your nervous system is negotiating prices behind your back. That's why you ain't making the money you want to make. Because you saying that this product is $1,000 or $9.97, when in reality, okay, your nervous system is saying, I think $9.97 is too much. I think $9.97 is too much. And that is the energy that you put out there. See, I don't think you understand that faking it till you make it doesn't work because the belief isn't there. That's why I don't tell people to do that. Faking it until you make it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you have not rooted the core belief. And if you have not rooted the core belief, the biology of your body is not going to respond the way you want it to. Is going to respond directly to the truth of that belief. So you could say all day long, I want to lose weight, I want to be healthier, but the belief is this: you keep eating fast food every single day. The belief is that this is all I have to get. This is what I can afford. See, let's get into it. You eat that because this is what I can afford. This is cheap. This is that. So I'm going to eat this. When your mind and your mouth is saying you want to lose weight, you want to be healthier, but your belief is saying this is what I can afford, this is what's cheap, this is the best I can do, yada, yada, yada. So all of your actions follow all of those things. Like I said, you're going to rise as high as your beliefs, and you're going to expand as wide as your circle. And when you begin to understand that the root of all of that is your energetics, you'll be ready to come see me. Because in order for you to shift this, you're going to have to raise your vibrational state. Absolutely. It just creates imposter syndrome, which ain't even real. You know what I'm saying? It's not even real. But the truth of the matter is, like, your nervous system is negotiating your pricing behind your back, and it's impacting your money because you have not regulated your nervous system. Let me tell you how this dysregulation is costing you when it comes down to friendships. Y'all, we are in the season where community is very important. It's extremely important. And this is not the time for you to have people in your circle and people in your space who are not quality, who are not supporting you, who are not replenishing the things that they are taking from you. It's a lot of symphonies out there, and y'all really need to be preserving and protecting yourself. But you can't do that if you're not in command, which means you have clarity. Because if you have clarity and you are in command, there's only certain type of people you're going to deal with. Everybody can't be my friend. And people laugh at me all the time, and my friends will tell you, I would say it take about 10 years for you to be my friend for real. But I'll be like, 10 years? I ain't playing. All of my friendships are 13 years plus. My longest friendship, a lot of them, the majority of my friendships are 20 years plus. I don't play that. You just can't up and be my friend. And the reason why you can't just up and be my friend and be in my space and get access to me is because I understand my value. See, I understand my value innately. I understand my value when it comes down to my spiritual gifts. And I also understand that moths are even attracted to a flame. And just because you want to be in my face does not mean you mean me any good. It does not mean that you are here to automatically come and add value. You could be a spectator, a monitoring spirit, a person who wants to see me fall. It could be any and everything. But what I know for sure is that two types of people are coming into your space. People who are part of your destiny and people who are there to distract you. I am here to discern which are you. And it's not for me asking you a bunch of questions. It is of me observing you and how you respond and how you react so I can see if you need to be close to me. And everyone should be doing that, because if you don't, here's the hidden cost of dysregulation when it comes down to friendships. You're going to attract other women in your space who trauma bond, not truth bond. See, and a lot of y'all don't need to trauma bond no more. You need truth bonding. But see, a lot of you don't want the truth because the truth means you have to make a decision, and you don't want to make a decision. You want somebody to come and rescue you and save you from your responsibilities. When that's not happening, nobody's coming. So you will continue to attract women who trauma bond instead of truth bond if you don't get your energetics right. And so everybody's just going to be sitting around here complaining about what's happening in the world, and nobody's going to shift or change anything in your immediate circle, which means that you're not going to expand. You're just going to be stagnant. And friendships, this is another way it's costing you. You shrink in circles where there's other powerful women, not because you aren't capable, not because you aren't able to do these things, but because your body doesn't know how to hold being powerful and emotionally safe at the same time. Your body doesn't know how to hold and being emotionally safe at the same time, so you guard yourself or you shrink and you make yourself small. When in reality, we need all of you. We need all of the bigness. We need all of the things that make you who you are, because it is going to shift the atmosphere. It is going to, shatter realities. It is going to wake something up, but you shrink because you don't know how to hold properly. You don't know how to hold power. And this is why you attract men into your space who adore your power, who love your intelligence, who love how this you are, but who love your intelligence, who love how this you are, but they don't know how to hold it. So they fumble it. They self-sabotage. All of a sudden they start going to do this. They start going to do that, because these people are coming into your space. They're mesmerized by your power, but they don't know how to hold it. Their nervous system isn't regulated. This is why you shouldn't get offended when a man says, I don't want anything serious. I'm not in that space right now. Not all of that is coming from a deceptive place. Some of it is. Some of it is. But when you hear men say to you, I don't want to be in this space, or whatever the case may be, energetically, you need to be able to respect that and move on. If clarity says that you don't deal with people, make the decision. But here's another thing in friendships that you have to pay attention to. That's very important. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. You will, if you're too emotionally reactive, despite all the knowledge you know and all the therapy that you've taken and all the books you've read, you do this because your presence only feels safe when it's needed. So this is why women get in relationships and be like, well, you don't let me, and they see somebody, a man is working on his business, working on his purpose. Well, you don't let me help you. Mind your business. Mind your business. You're not being asked for help. So stop positioning yourself to become a slave, because what you're going to do is start a habit. You're going to start a habit. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. You're going to start a habit and these likes. You're going to start a habit of something that you're not going to want to keep up later on, that you're going to be complaining about. So why even start that? Why even position yourself for that? But you do this, you overgive, you overextend, you do all these things because you only feel safe when you feel needed by other people. That's when you start acting up, because you feel like people don't need you. Nobody's using you. You're so used to being used. Oh, that is so cute. Thank you for that. You are so used to being used, and when people aren't using you, you're confused. You're confused. But then you complain about being exhausted. See what I'm saying? You don't know how to be in friendships where your presence is a gift, not performance. And that's why you struggle a lot in friendships. And like I said, this is how this dysregulation emotionally is throwing you off in friendships. So let's talk about how it's throwing you off with men, right? You choose men who look powerful, but they lack emotional grounding, because your nervous system is still attracted to chaos. So you need to up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah, he got money. Yeah, he got a little status. But emotionally, don't let you get emotional, baby. He don't know how to handle that. He's shutting it down. Do-do-do-do. He going ghost. As soon as you get emotional, do-do-do-do, he out. Shut down, shut out. He's gone, right? And in that moment, when he's gone, you're freaking out. You're freaking out. And the minute that he goes and he comes back and figures you done calm down and you all right now, or he done did whatever, and he came back and you cool, here you go right back into the cycle, okay, of fake calm chaos, calm chaos, calm chaos, calm chaos. You are choosing men who look powerful but lack emotional grounding. This is what happens when you're too emotionally reactive. Energetics don't lie, and one thing about men that I can say is that men are the masters of energy reading. We are the masters of intuition. This is why when you tell a man nothing is wrong, he feels that something is wrong. It's whether or not he's going to investigate it or not. If he values doing that at that time, or if he does not value doing it at that time, he's not. But they can feel it. So you're not fooling anyone. Sitting there with an attitude, it doesn't make any sense. But again, you are choosing men who look powerful, because again, we are attracted as women to power, and a lot of us are attracted to illusions of power. And I'm gonna say this, you might not like what I say, and I've talked about this a little bit online, on threads, but this is what I'm saying as far as like women fall into the whole aspect of the illusion of power when they look at men. A woman will see a man, a woman who does not value herself will see a man who appears to be in a healthy relationship where this woman seems very taken care of. She seems very like her energy is up, like all of these different things. And it just seems like he's doing all this amazing stuff for her. And he just seems like, oh my God, he's so great, right? And so you're looking at him as if he is so powerful. He's so this, he's so that, yada, 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 yada. And so some women will go after that man with the hopes and the intention, with the hopes and the objective of getting the same type of treatment that appears that the other woman is getting, okay? But a lot of those women end up finding out that the illusion of power that they are seeing from these men have been cultivated by the very women that you are disdaining and that you dislike and that you have an issue with. So it appears as if he is like solely doing all of this for her, when in reality a lot of this is coming from her work and her grounding and all of these things. And so you will sleep with this particular man and lay down or entertain this particular man with the hopes of getting the things that appears, that getting the things that it looks like she's getting. But in reality, you're more attracted to her energy than you are his energy, because the power is in what she has been able to amplify, okay? What she has amplified, what he has given to her. And because of that, he is reaping the benefit of that. So you are more attracted to her than you realize. And this is why I tell women, a lot of women will go in a state of frequency of desperation and go and sleep with this man and think you doing something by being like, oh, I slept with her man. Sweetheart, you did that to get closer to her because you were hoping to get the energy that she gets, or that she portrays, or that she gives off, when you don't realize that is her authentic energy and he is benefiting from it. Because guess what? Men don't do anything that they don't benefit from. They don't participate in experiences where they are not benefiting. Even if he is doing something for you, there is still a benefit for him in him doing something for you, because that's just naturally how they operate. So the very illusion of power that you think that you're seeing in this man is probably being cultivated by someone else, and you are so attracted to her that you lowered yourself to the point to where you would lay with her leftovers just to get an ounce of that energy. And y'all think bragging on something about talking about you let that man hit, you took her man? Oh, okay. No, sweetie. You actually were in a space where you were trying to siphon her energy, because that's what you're really attracted to. You really attracted to her. You really attracted to her. That's what you don't realize. You're very attracted and enamored by her energy, because it is us who amplifies, magnifies what we're given. So understand that. And I think a lot of women don't understand that. That ain't bragging rights. He's using you. And the thing about it is, girl, real quiet. And the thing about it is, he is using you as a source, which is why, again, I go back to, like I said, men are very short-term thinking. So when a woman comes up pregnant and she says things like, well, what if you didn't want a baby? Then it takes two to make a baby. Then why did you do this? I mean, I don't know any other way to say this, but I mean, he nutted in you because he needed a release, not because he needed a baby. And the way that they operate, they will say anything in the midst of that release to be able to get that release. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. That was so cute. They will say anything in the middle to get that release because they're short-term thinkers. They're not thinking about the long-term consequences until it happens. And this is why, as a woman, you need to be thinking long-term. Men don't see us as a threat. And that is very unfortunate for a lot of men, because it's how a lot of men get played. That's how the whole Shannon Sharp scenario happened. He got played. He should have saw that coming a mile away. He got played. Because we are the weaker sex, and because we are smaller in frame, thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes, and because we appear to be docile, we don't come across as a threat. Until the girl you cheating with throw acid in your white face. Until the girl you cheating with comes and runs a gun on you and your girlfriend. Until the girl you messing with decides she want to go slice the face of the girl she think you messing with because she thinks that you're for her. See, they always thinking short term, sweetie. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. They're always thinking short term, sweetheart. This is why you as a woman should always be thinking about the long game. In the long run, how is this going to pan out for me? Because if this is going to continue to keep me in a situation where I am emotionally reactive, I may need to reevaluate this entire experience, because this is not it. This is not it. You really have to pay attention to it. They don't see us as a threat until we actually do something. They don't see y'all. Like, I'm for real. Like, I'm gonna use an even better example. Look at Samson and Delilah. Delilah set Samson up so many times before he actually got, and he still didn't leave her alone. He basically had to get got and get captured. She set him up like 2 to 3 times before the people. He actually gave her the real answer to his strength. But she set him up. She tried to do everything that he said. Tie me up. Tied up. Oh my God, Samson, the people coming. He didn't woke up and kill everybody. You won't tell me this. She cried. Kept crying until eventually he told her. And then she used it against him. I'm just trying to figure out what he was thinking. What you think she want to know the information for? Did you think she wanted to know because she wanted to see if she could get the power? Like what he wasn't thinking. He couldn't see past the feminine wiles. But this is why it tells you again in scripture when it talks about men how they shouldn't just go chasing cat. Because it tells you in Proverbs how you can walk down that alley and you might lose your life. See, this is where men don't understand this aspect of it, and you have to understand that. When it talks about you stepping out here and you doing certain things and you'll lose your life, sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean your physical life. It could be your lifeline. See, if you decide to go out here and be in covenant with a woman and you get married and you make a decision to cheat, you may not lose your life, but you may lose your lifeline. She may have been a lifeline to you to get you to the next level. She may have been a lifeline to you to help you amplify what it is that you had going on. You may lose access to that lifeline. But in some form or fashion, you're going to lose an aspect of your life, but you never know what that's going to look like. And if we were to look at it like for the scenario with Shannon Sharp, okay, that brother is losing sources of income. Y'all think he just up and left ESPN? Let me put y'all on game. Did y'all know that ESPN is 80% owned by Disney? Y'all knew that? You think Disney finna allow that to go on their programming? You think we finna continue to allow this to happen and you're coming across as a liability? Absolutely not. So yeah, we give you an opportunity to go ahead and make your exit before we go ahead and release you. He won't be returning. If y'all think he gonna be returning, child, he ain't. Because I'm going to tell you something. One thing for sure, two things for certain. See, a lot of us think that we are free when we have masters. See, and when you are owned by a master, they're going to always remind you that you are their slave. Do you understand that? When you submit to systems and you think that you are so free and above the program and above all of this, your slave driver will remind you of your position at all times. So again, you have to be thinking about your long game as a woman all the time. No shade, and people can take it how they want to take it. That girl that did what she did to Shannon Sharp, she was thinking about the long game the whole time. She was thinking about the long game the entire time. Why aren't you? And she probably gonna get paid too. She probably gonna get paid too, for real. And she must have something real good if she ain't want to take that 10 million. She must have something nice if she ain't want to take that 10 million. So the thing about it is, as a woman, you need to always be thinking about your long game. Okay? Always be thinking about your long game, and do not position your legacy by putting it in the hands of a man, because a lot of them are short-term thinkers. And they're not thinking about your long game. They're thinking about their gain. Okay? Which is why a lot of men love to gamble. You see what I'm saying? Because they're looking for short-term gain. It's easy card to play the dice. Short-term gain. Okay? How to think about the long game and stay in the present in the moment. Hold that question for me, and I promise I'm going to answer because I'm almost done, okay? When it comes down to men, again, let's talk about this because I'm almost towards the end, or close to the end. But when it comes down to men, again, your emotional dysregulation also is coming in this form right here. You say you want a masculine man, but your nervous system expects to be disappointed because your belief is that all men disappoint you. Every man in your life has disappointed you from the beginning, from your dad, from this and that and all of that, right? Like, if you're sitting and waiting in a space of disappointment, then you're not waiting for masculine order. You're not ready for masculine structure or masculine direction because you're not going to listen. Because you don't believe them. Okay? I'm not a dating coach. I'm not a dating coach at all. A lot of my clients have had better dating experiences, though, after working with me. And that happens because we do rewiring. We rewire the nervous system and we reprogram the mind, because belief impacts biology and biology influences the way you behave. So my clients have had better dating experiences, my clients have made more money, and my clients have gotten healthier since working with me. That's resulted in, like I said, them losing up to 70 pounds, reversing liver damage, A1C, reversing heart damage, attracting better relationships, going from 5 figures to 6 figures, 6 figures to multi 6 figures. My track record is my track record. And it all is rooted in, like I said, the 3 key areas: understanding spiritual law, scripture, understanding the science of yourself and your design as a woman so you don't work against it, you work with it, and then also understanding the psychology behind your lineage so that you don't repeat patterns. These are the things that keep you out of therapy for years. This is why people leave their therapist to come work with me. Because you should not be, and no shade, I'm saying hi, but unless you have been through something that is traumatic, because I do believe that there are years in time that you should be doing your work. But if you're in therapy and you're consistently discussing the same thing over and over again, years upon years upon years, and there's no progression, there's a problem there. And I'm noticing that people are going into scenarios and paying for friendships, and they just talking to somebody. You should not be cool with your therapist. You should not be cool with them. Okay, you should be actually processing what's going on, and there should be discharge planning happening. If they, like, y'all sitting there for too long. And then I have women who are leaving those environments and coming to work with me and getting results in 3 to 6 months, because the process is really simple. It's either you're going to get clarity and get in command and make decisions and create a new reality, or you simply are not. I have all the tools to be able to give you that. And I went through so much hell so you don't have to go through it, and I broke everything down. So, a win is a win, okay? But again, you can't say that you want a masculine man, but you expect to be disappointed. Like, you have to heal that aspect of your relationship of constantly being disappointed. Another thing is this: what's happening when you are too emotionally reactive. You are confusing adrenaline with attraction. This is a really big one. This is a really, really big one. A lot of women confuse adrenaline with attraction because chaos is what your body calls familiar. This is a lot of the women who the butterflies in the stomach. Excuse me. And you're thinking that that is love, when it's actually a warning telling you to run for your life. But you confuse that because in your household or in your life, it's been this adrenaline up down. And if it's not giving you the feeling of like adrenaline, it just can't be right. It doesn't give you the passion. It doesn't do this and do that. At some point, you have to realize what is valuable to you. And one thing about the feminine values structure and security. We value stability and security, which is why we want marriage, which is why we want the long game, why we want this, right? Men value autonomy and freedom. Again, men value autonomy and freedom. We value and prioritize structure and stability. Okay? The reason why men want freedom and autonomy, or you'll see this happen in marriages where men will marry a specific type of woman, right? And in that marriage, he's allowed to be free and autonomous to be with other women, free and autonomous to be who he is, free and autonomous to do whatever it is that he wants to do under the sun, under that sanctity of marriage, okay? Men tend to marry women that allow them to be in spaces where they have the freedom and the autonomy to make the decisions that are best for them. This is why it's very important for you to be very clear on what security and stability looks like for you. Because if you don't, and if you're not clear on that, and you marry someone who is in a space where his freedom and he feels like he has the freedom and he desires the autonomy to be all over the place, and you feel like that's not stable for you, then you need to. This is why you need to be thinking about your long game. Because if they're doing this in a relationship, and y'all know I don't do boyfriend-girlfriend relationships anyway, but if you choose to do them, this is why in a relationship, if you're seeing these things happen, they're going to magnify and multiply when you marry that person. Marriage does not make people straighten up. It reveals who they are. And that's something that you really have to pay attention to. So you don't want to be in a space where you're confusing adrenaline with attraction, because, and here's why I'm trying to tell you this, why this is really important. If you don't learn how to distinguish adrenaline from attraction, you are going to make yourself sick and push yourself into autoimmune disease, or be sick and ruin your kidneys. And I am telling you what it is. Okay? Here's what you have to understand and you have to know. Your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys. When you stress and you have high blood pressure, it messes with the adrenals. Okay? When it messes with the adrenals like that, to the point to where you get so stressed out where it blows your kidneys. So high blood pressure is basically ruin your kidneys because you've been so stressed out, right? If you start going to dialysis, right, to get this process taken care of, and this is your consistent thing, I want you to think about this too. The state of the world and of the country right now is really insane. Hospitals are closing. Healthcare is really looking bad. Doctors and nurses and different things they are burned out. Do you hear me? I'm telling you because they come to see me. They are burned out. All right? And what is happening in these spaces is that there's a lack of couth and a lack of like genuine care, because a lot of people are extremely numb. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So if something happens and you blow your adrenals worrying about this man to the point to where you have to be on dialysis, and something happens and you can't get to dialysis, or there's a national crisis, or the lights go out. Y'all been paying attention how lights been going out in other countries? You might want to pay attention to that, and I promise I'm not playing. I'm trying to tell you something without telling you something with that one. If something happens and you cannot go and you cannot do this, and it takes a while for you, your toxins can back up into your blood so much to where there is a connection between your ears, okay, and your kidneys. If you get so backed up with toxins to where you can't get that out because you can't get to where you need to be because you were stressing out by somebody else, do you understand that you can go deaf? You can stress yourself out enough to where you go deaf. Imagine spending years being in a horrible relationship, not listening to your body when you have BV back to back, when you got yeast infections back to back, when you stressed out and you got headaches back to back. Imagine not listening to your body's cry for years just to be in a relationship, to hold on to somebody, for you to turn around, not be listening to your body to where you go deaf and you can't hear nothing. Imagine not listening to yourself for years to the point to where you can't hear anything. This is what a lot of women are doing. And I don't know why y'all don't believe that being in these toxic relationships are pushing you back towards horrible health. I don't see how you don't see the correlation in that. All of these things start spiritually. You start to get infected spiritually, then it starts to mess with your mind mentally. You start to be confused emotionally, and then physically things begin to show up. Okay? It is literally that simple. If your nervous system has not evolved, then your love life, your money, your friendships, none of them can evolve either. You're going to have to rewire your nervous system for safety. So money feels good coming in. So love feels good coming in. Okay? So friendships feel good coming in. All right? Here's the next thing I need you to understand and be very, very clear about is this. Presence is the most profitable currency that a woman holds. Do you understand that? I want you to even look at that from the beginning. Presence is the most profitable currency that a woman holds. And let me explain what I mean by that. When Eve showed up, Adam was just mesmerized. Like, he was extremely mesmerized just by her presence. Her very essence lifted everything. You understand what I'm saying? So presence, again, is the most profitable currency a woman holds. This is why men want access to you. Do you know that? This is why after they've slept with you and they still want to be friends, because they still want access, because there's power in your presence. And because you don't realize the power of your presence, you stick around until you are powerless. Okay? Until you are powerless. Well, I'm so glad that you've been here this long. that you are powerless. When your nervous system is off, your presence is distorted. People don't trust your pricing. People don't feel safe in your lead is off. Your presence is distorted. People don't trust your pricing. People don't feel safe in your leadership. People your pricing. People don't feel safe in your leadership, and people don't buy your brilliance, which is why you're continuing to be feeling like you're overlooked when you're not really overlooked. You're just unanchored. You're not rooted. You don't stand on business for real. See, people who stand on business are hardly played with. People understand that, and I'm gonna tell you some people stand. I'm gonna give you a funny story. When I was getting married some years ago, and I was at my bridal shower, my mother is a very pivotal person in my life. My mother is, she don't play. My mother was military. My mother is, very results driven. And so it's how I am the way that I am, right? And we were at this bridal shower. And when I talk about people standing on business and people don't play with you because you stand on business, this is what I mean. So we were playing a game, and one of the games was like, I got the card, and the card said, oh, call your mom, have one of your friends, call your mom, and tell your mom that you're in jail, and yada, 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 right? So when I picked the card and I read the card, everyone in the room, because these are my friends, everyone in the room said, nah, we ain't gonna call her mom. We ain't even gonna call her mom and play that. Because everybody in that room knew, and I'm grown. It's like I got married when I was 28. No, I got married when I was 30. I think this was around 29 when I was having this. And everybody in the room was like, yeah, no, we ain't gonna call her mom. Because we already know her mom is not gonna play and not be for the play with this. When people know that people like you ain't the one to be played with, people just don't play with you. And it's not even because my mother is violent or anything like that. She just has a presence that is, don't play with me. I also have inherited that I have a presence that just gives, don't play with me. Not because I'm going to necessarily do something to you, but it's something in you that's just going to say, if I play with her, I feel like I'm going to hurt myself. And you are. And you are. And that's scripture. It said, don't touch the Most High's anointed. You are going to hurt yourself. You're not going to hurt me the way you think you're going to hurt me. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to cause yourself harm. So when people know, some people just know, like, they know not to rock the boat. Okay. So again, presence is the most profitable currency that a woman holds. And a lot of you are not being overlooked. You're just really unanchored. You're not rooted in your belief. You're not rooted in truth. Okay. Now, let's come down to the bottom of it with all of this that I need you to understand. Understanding, the hidden cost of dysregulation, understanding that presence is really the product. It's really what people want from you. They want your presence. They want your essence. They want your energy. They want access. I need you to understand this is why I built the Muse Activator, because I built it for the woman that I used to be and the space that a lot of women are in. Very powerful on paper, highly intelligent. I don't give dummy on no level, right? But I was panicking behind the scenes. I was tired of sounding like a very powerful person and, performing power and performing sovereignty while I was silently spiraling behind closed doors, trying to keep up with having it all together and being the first one to graduate school, the first one to go get a master's, the first one to go start a business, the first one, all of those things. Extremely brilliant I am, and definitely was at the time, but my energy was leaking. So it's not about becoming perfect, because I'm far from perfect. It's about becoming anchored. And I am extremely anchored. And so when I talk about the Muse Activator, what is it? It's a 6-week program, okay? It's 6 weeks of energetic and emotional immersion for the high functional woman who has done the work and is finally ready to hold it. Because, see, a lot of us have been in therapy for years. A lot of us have done a lot of internal work. A lot of us are doing this, but you still can't hold. This is for the woman who is ready to hold it. Inside, we're going to regulate your nervous system without numbing yourself. Because see, a lot of women are thinking they regulate their nervous system and they numbing themselves. And you're going to get a rude awakening. Okay? This is for the woman who wants to restore her voice and her power without performing, without feeling like she needs to people please or, be concerned about what other people think. She stands in the fullness of her authority. She can say no with a smile. She's okay. This is for the woman who wants to rebuild magnetic presence from the inside out. This is for the woman who wants to lead, who wants to sail, who wants to rise without leaking. This is not a course. Let me just say this. This is a calibration that takes place over 6 weeks. Okay? Because here's the thing. You can't be magnetic when you leaking. And your feminine magnetism is how you get the money, how you get the men, and how you get the relationships you want. Period. Okay? And you can't be magnetic if you're leaking and by being too emotionally reactive. You can't be wealthy if you're wobbly, if you're up and down, shaky, confused. You're not going to be able to work like that. You cannot lead even in your household as a mother, as a leader in business, as a wife, any of those things, as a friend. You cannot do any of those things if you can't lead your inner world, if your inner world is at war. If money feels stuck, if your friendships feel draining, and if your love life feels hella confusing, this is not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you need to recalibrate. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. You need to recalibrate. And if you want to recalibrate and you want to do it through the program of the Muse Activator, I have a special offer, okay? So the Muse Activator is originally priced at $2,222. What I am doing currently right now is that I am opening 5 spots currently for women to come in at $997. Yes, you can get this for Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. You have to DM me the word activate so that I can send you the specific link, because if you click the link in the bio, it's going to take you to the $2,222 one. We are starting on May the 15th, okay? So it's $997 for 6 weeks. We're going to do a complete energetic and emotional immersion so that you can regulate your nervous system, so that you can restore your voice and power without performing, so that you can really rebuild your magnetic presence and lead and sell without leaking. Because like I said, you need a recalibration. And the recalibration requires you to reprogram your mind. It requires you to rewire your nervous system so that your belief impacts your biology and your biology shifts the way you behave, which means that all of your actions align with what you want manifested, and you start manifesting faster, quicker. Like it happens really quick when you get yourself in alignment. Things that you have been trying to do for the very longest automatically get in alignment. I had a client like that. The client named Delilah. She took a class with me where we talked about alignment is getting herself together spiritually. And guess what happened? She had been trying to get clients for, I think, for a couple of years. She could only get one. She took that master class. Within 24 hours, she started implementing stuff. She had 9 new clients. She had 9 new clients within the next 10 days. 5 clients appeared within the next 24 hours. The things that you are wanting are already there. The problem is you're not there to catch the ball. You're the catcher. You're not there. You're either not in position, you're not doing the right thing, or you don't have the right materials. Something is off. And so we need to recalibrate what is happening here and what is happening here, so that we feel comfortable and safe enough to receive. Okay? So that is what is happening. That's what's going on. If you want more information about that, like I said, there's 2 ways if you want to work with me currently. There are 2 ways for you to be able to do it. You can do it in the Muse Activator, or you can also come to the masterclass that I'm having on May 13th. It's called Monetize Like a Muse. And in Monetize Like a Muse, let me explain to you what we're going to be talking about in there so you'll know. So in Monetize Like a Muse, if you know that you want more income coming into your life, but the reality is you're blocked because you're exhausted, you're tired, you don't have time to go get another degree, you don't have time to go get another certificate, you don't have the energy, attention span, or even the money to go and do this. So Monetize Like a Muse is going to support you by providing you with a couple of different things. You're going to walk away with a monetization plan and a map for the next 30 to 90 days. You're going to leave that class with at least 3 monetizable content ideas that align with your current skill set. The thing about it is, the reason why a lot of people are not making money is because you're not You're not putting anything out there that's in demand that solves a person's problem, and you're not operating from an authentic space, so you can't do it consistently. So you feel like an imposter, but you literally can make money and be monetized in a multitude of ways. I am monetized on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and I've also used these platforms to be able to collect a multitude of money, right? And I've done all of this by using what I'm telling you, operating from the state of my energetics, making sure that I have monetizable skills and content ideas that align with my real skill set for me to be able to show up. You also are going to get a structure to earn consistently without a full scale business. Let's just say you want to be able to earn and you're not ready to go into a full state of business. Okay. That's totally fine. And you also will develop a fresh relationship with money rooted in alignment and not anxiety. One of the things that you get when you sign up for this class is the first thing you're going to get is an email. You're going to get your email that's going to welcome you. And the second thing that you're going to get is a quiz. The quiz is going to let me know and let you know the three monetizable skills that you have that people are seeking right now. So I'm giving you a toolkit, in a sense, a quiz for you to be able to take real quick. And it's going to tell you, hey, this is the three monetizable skills that you have. And this is why society needs it. And when you come to class, I'm going to teach you how to get that, to call it in and bring that bag in. Okay. So if the issue is surrounding around you bringing in more income and you bringing in more money, then it'll be able to support you. There's two options with that course. It is $175. You get a Klarna Affirm and Afterpay. If once you get the class, or you decide, yes, I want the class, but I actually want some support to flesh out my idea, then I have an option for $497 where you get 2 weeks of Telegram one-on-one support in addition to that class, so that we can make sure we're putting the product out there is seamless and you just getting to work. Because what I need for women to do when they leave that class, within a week, I need you to be out here getting to the money. I need you to be out here implementing the things so you can position yourself to be able to get the money. And I need you to know that if you want passive income, it requires you to get active first. So when you get active, then things start to come to you and you start attracting. So I'm putting you in place for you to be able to get that. Like I said, you can get the ticket for $175 with Klarna Affirm and Afterpay, or you can get the other option, which is for $497. Click the link in the bio to be able to get access to it. If you are interested in the 6-week program, that is $997. Then DM me the word activate, and I'm going to send you the link so you can go ahead and take care of that. And then you're going to get your contract. You're going to get all your other stuff that comes with it. And then you're going to start preparing for the 15th, because on the 15th, we're going straight in. We're going straight into it when it comes down to the Muse Activator. And for those who don't know what we cover in the Muse Activator program, let me see if I have it on here. I already pulled up. Let's see. I don't. So I'm going to pull it up. I got another way to get it. Okay. So during the 6 weeks of, it's called Monetize Like a Muse. You can click the link in the bio to get access. It's called Monetize Like a Muse. Thank you, my love. Monetize Like a Muse. Click the link in the bio and you'll get access to it. So here's what you're going to learn in the 6 weeks of the program. Let me scroll down. Child, what am I doing? Looking over the wrong thing. Okay. So in that particular program, we're breaking down emotional recalibration and feminine power. It's going to look like we have power. It's going to look like we have weekly Zooms. You have Telegram access to me all the time. And a lot of things, what I realize a lot of times when women come to work with me, they want the access to me to be able to ask me questions, to be able to break down certain things. And I'm there to do that. So I have one particular client who came into my Magnetic Muse program. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. And then in her coming into the Magnetic Muse program, which is my overall program, which is the Muse Activator starts it. When she got into that program, she has talked like not only has she recalibrated, but she's also recalibrated in a way where her dating experiences are different. So she joined an intuitive dating challenge that I had. And so I will, when you work with me, sometimes I'll have these hidden challenges and things like women say, oh, well, I would like to focus more on dating and being more intuitive when it comes down to how I date and stuff like that. So I created the intuitive dating challenge for my clients, and my clients within 30 days reported having way better dating experiences, attracting the type of men that they desire, a whole bunch of stuff. So it everything is, like I said, is centered around energetics. So if you're having issues in the area of money, meals, and when I say meals, I'm talking about like how you eat and your emotional eating and all of that, and weight management, or in the area of men, like those are the areas that my clients have gotten results from working with me. So better dating experiences, better health, and more money. So in this day and age, in 2025, the state of the where things are, you might want to get your money together. You might want to make sure, if you're going to be dealing with men, you have quality men in your experience in your life that actually support you in the midst of things going on, that can position you for better. Hello, somebody. You might want to have the best health possible and work on that, considering the fact the way hospitals are closing, a lot of medical staff and people are becoming numb. Okay, you need to take responsibility for your money, your love life, and your health, because those things are going to be very, very important. And if you don't take control of the money, your relationships, okay, and your health, these are the three things that make you prey. Easy prey. See, you become easy work. See, you're easy prey when you don't position yourself for better. When you don't position yourself for better, systems of poverty take you out when you don't have money. When you don't position yourself for better, predators, in the form men who are predators, see you as prey, and they take you as possession, and they do what they do when it comes down to you. If you don't position yourself to be in a better state of health, being bogged down in the bed is going to cripple you, okay? It's going to make you prey. So these things are very important that I'm speaking on. Money, your relationships, and your health are very vital to how you thrive as a woman in this society. And you really have to pay attention to those things, okay? What questions do you guys have for me? I'm going to take a few questions. Let me try to put this on here. I hope it don't fall, because I messed it up before I got on here. What questions do you guys have for me? Drop them in the comment section. Congratulations to those who have clicked the link in the bio and who purchased tickets already to... Congratulations to those who have clicked the link in the bio and who purchased tickets already to... Those who have purchased tickets to class. I will see you in class on the 13th. And congratulations to those who have DM'd me the word activate, who are ready to come into the Muse Activator, because it is an amazing program and I'm really, really excited about it. So what questions do you have about anything that we talked about today? Bottom line, y'all know too much to be so emotionally reactive. Y'all know too much scripture. Y'all know too much self-help. Y'all know all these things, and y'all can intellectualize your healing, but you can't implement. Don't get on my nerves. How to think about the long game and stay in the present moment. One first part is how to stay in the long game is you should be operating according to your vision. You cannot play the long game if you don't have a vision. Scammers, people who want to deceive you, they have a vision. Which is why they're able to scam so many people, because they have a vision. And so the first thing too, if you want to be in the long game or even considering the long game, you should have a vision, because without a vision, the people will perish. Siri, please, I didn't ask you nothing. Without a vision, the people will perish. And you have to write the vision down and make it plain, because it seals it. There is a way, and there's some studies that was done when you write things down versus you trying to type it in your phone. It's like your brain picks up the memory faster, and it's more solidified in your mind, which is why I always recommend women writing stuff down. So, and plus it tells you that in the scripture anyway. So that's the first aspect of that. Like, in order for you to play the long game, you have to know what the long game is. And the way you know what the long game is by being clear, having clarity again, around your vision so you can command a new reality. So that's the first things first. As far as how to stay in the present moment, you have to make a decision and realize that what you do in the present impacts your future. So if you spend too much time, if you see yourself as a time travel, as a time machine, and you see yourself as someone who time travels, you either time travel mentally to the past or you time travel mentally to the future. If you spend too much time in the future, traveling to the future, you'll always be anxious and you'll always be worried, right? And anxiousness basically is worry. You'll always worry about the outcome, worry about what's going to happen, worry about this instead of being detached from it. If you spend too much time worrying it, it ruins the present because worry by definition, worry scientifically weakens your immune system. So you spending too much time in the future actually impacts your present and it ruins your future. So you have to, again, make a decision. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. You have to make a decision if you want to influence your future in a way that is impactful or if you want to destroy your future by focusing in on it so much that you are disconnected from the present, which means that you cannot take the proper steps to be able to prepare for a better future. I hope that that made sense. I know that was a lot. But long game requires vision. Staying in the present means that you time travel the appropriate way, if that makes sense. And time travel to the past is for you to collect memories and to check for reoccurring patterns. And time traveling to the future is only good when you're consistently positioning yourself in the present. But if you're not, and you think you're a fortune teller and you spend too much time in the future, you're going to ruin the present by not being prepared because you can't prepare for the future. And you'll consistently be miserable, consistently repeating cycles and trying to figure out why you can't get ahead. And it's because you're too busy focusing on what you think is ahead or either focusing on what's behind you and you're not sitting present and executing in the way that you should be so that you can prepare for what is next. Okay? So that is how you do that. That is how you do that. I know I said a lot. So hopefully that made sense and that was clear. But understanding time travel and understanding vision, understanding time and understanding vision really supports you in getting in a state of alignment. So if you struggle with that, I would tell you to check out the products and services in my bio. Anywhere from the emotional wealth kit to the magnetic wealth kit. Yeah, I would definitely click the link in bio and check out those. Or I would be in Monetize Like a Muse, depending on where you are. Okay? Depending on where you are. All praises. Thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions? And congratulations to those who purchase. Like I said, you're going to get an email welcoming you first, and then you're going to get, within 24 hours to 48 hours, you're going to get the email that is going to ask you to test and to quiz to see what your monetizable skills are. And that, like I said, that's a private AI that I have created to be able to tell you exactly how you're going to make this moolah, baby. Okay? And I am skilled at what I do. If I can't do nothing else, I can tell you how to get this money. And I can tell you how to get it in a multitude of ways. Because getting money is easy, which is why I don't really teach getting money. I teach you to align your energetics because the money is always there. Your energetics is the issue. All right? Okay. So I'm not seeing any other questions. So I'm assuming that y'all are well. Yes, this is going to go onto my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the link in the bio to subscribe. Make sure that you share this with someone who needs it. What else? I think that's it. For those who have signed up, like I said, congratulations. I will see you soon. I'm super excited. This is going to be really great. And for those who have inboxed me and DM me the word activate, I'm going to see the link for the Muse Activator. Okay? Because you know too much. You know too much to be out here not doing what you need to do. Amira, I would tell you to get my emotional wealth codes. I think that, I can't remember what that is. I would tell you if you need daily tips on emotional regulation, that means, and I'll tell you this, there is no emotional regulation without spiritual rooting. So if you're not spiritually rooted, there's nothing, I can give you tips all day long, but they're not going to sustain you. And because I'm a person that's built and I I'm built on sustainability. I preach sustainability. I live the sustainability. You need a process and you need a system first. You need a strong foundation so that you can regulate. Spiritual foundation, being grounded in that, supports you in capturing your thoughts mentally, which supports you in not overthinking and overanalyzing, which supports you in emotionally regulating. So it is a process. So emotional wealth kit is really good if you want to get the full shebang of it. The emotional wealth codes are a good starting point. Okay. Any other questions before I let y'all go? Good deal. Good deal. All right. All right, y'all. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing, magnificent Monday, a magnetic Monday, a magical Monday, a magnifying Monday, a manna Monday. And it is my prayer that what I have provided today supported you in that. I'm excited to see those who will be joining me for the work and getting their energetics together because emotional, I'm telling you, emotional wealth is high level feminine currency, and being able to master yourself in the areas of regulating emotions and recalibrating is really, really important when it comes down to money, love, and any form of business. Okay, so grasp that. I will see y'all next time. Preferably, I will see y'all tomorrow. That's the goal. That's the plan. For those who have purchased tickets, those emails are going to be going out soon, and I will talk to y'all soon, y'all. So have a great day. Peace, y'all.